He had only $3 in his hand, and he was ashamed to even hold them out. That afternoon, one young mechanic saw something no one else bothered to notice, and what he did next, quietly, without applause, without an audience, set in motion something neither of them could have planned. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness is the moment heaven chooses to remember. The rain had been falling since noon. Inside a small repair garage at the edge of town, the day was almost over. Tools were being put away. The last light above the bay doors flickered once, then held. Everyone was tired. Everyone was ready to leave. That was when a rust-colored pickup truck pulled slowly into the lot, the engine coughing as if it were apologizing for the interruption. The door opened. An elderly man stepped out carefully, both hands on the doorframe before his feet touched the ground. His name was Arthur, 73 years old. Worn coat, worn boots, eyes that had seen a long life, most of it lived with dignity, and today, with a little fear. He walked to the garage entrance, holding his cap against his chest. "Excuse me," he said softly. "My rear tire won't hold air. I just need it patched enough to get home." Brad, the senior man on the floor, looked up slowly. He glanced at the truck. He glanced at Arthur. Then he laughed, not cruelly, but carelessly, which is sometimes worse. "Sir," he said, "that truck doesn't need a tire. It needs a memorial service." A few of the younger men smiled. Arthur looked down at his cap. "I have a doctor's appointment in the morning," he said quietly. "And after that, I need to pick up groceries from the food pantry. I just need to get home." Brad crossed his arms. "Well, did you bring money?" Arthur opened his hand slowly. $3. Folded. Slightly damp. The room went quiet in a different way now. Brad shook his head. "We're not a charity, sir, and we're closed." For a moment, no one moved. Arthur stood near the entrance, soaked, too proud to beg, and too tired to argue. Then, from the back of the shop, past the shelving, past the tire stacks, past the fluorescent light that buzzed and flickered, a young man named Leo stepped forward. 24 years old, 6 months on the job. Not the strongest, not the fastest. The kind of person most rooms forget is in them. "I'll take care of it," he said. The room turned. Brad looked at him the way experienced men sometimes look at young ones when they think they're about to make a mistake. "Leo, he can't pay." Leo picked up his work gloves from the bench. "Then take it from my check." Silence. Brad stepped closer. "You're going to lose money over a stranger?" Leo looked at Arthur, really looked at him, and then back at Brad. "No," he said. "I'm going to help a man get home." He found an old used tire in the back with life still in it. He rolled it through the shop, pushed through the side door, and stepped out into the rain. Arthur followed him, almost stumbling. "Son," he said, "I cannot let you do this. I have nothing to give you." Leo knelt beside the rear wheel. Rain dripped from his hair. His uniform was soaked within a minute. He looked up once. "My grandfather used to say, when God gives you hands, he also gives you chances to use them. Tonight is one of those chances." He worked slowly, deliberately, changed the tire, checked the pressure, tightened every bolt twice. Then, without being asked, he walked around the truck, checked each remaining tire, adjusted the one that was low on the driver's side, made sure the old man would be safe on every mile of road between here and home. By the time he finished, the garage was nearly empty. Arthur stood beside the truck and could not speak. Finally, his voice barely above the rain, he said, "God saw what you did today, son." Leo stood up, wiped his hands, and smiled with the peace of someone who knew he had done the right thing. "That's enough for me," he said. Leo arrived early. He expected trouble. Brad had made it clear the tire cost would come out of his pay. There was even talk he might lose the job entirely. "Too soft," they said. "Not cut out for this business." But before he could clock in, Samuel, the owner, called him into the office. Samuel was in his mid-50s. A quiet man who said little, and noticed everything. Leo stepped inside. On the desk was a small envelope, and beside it, a set of keys. "Sit down, Leo." Leo sat. Samuel looked at him for a long moment. "I watched the security footage last night." Leo opened his mouth. Samuel raised one hand. "I watched Brad turn him away. I watched the others smile. And then I watched you, a 24-year-old kid on a junior wage, kneel in the rain to help a man you had never met, who could give you absolutely nothing in return." Leo said nothing. Samuel pushed the envelope forward. "The tire's on the shop. Nothing from your check." Then he pushed the keys forward. "For the last year, I've wanted to launch a mobile service unit for elderly customers, widows, families who can't always get here. I needed someone to lead it." He paused. "I've been looking for the right person. Turns out, he was in my shop the whole time." Leo stared at the keys. "Me?" Samuel nodded. "Many people can fix machines, Leo. Very few know how to honor people. Those two things together, that's rare. That's what I need." Outside the office window, Brad stood at his workstation. He had heard everything. He stood very still, and for the first time in a long time, he found himself thinking about his own father. An old man now, living alone in a small house outside of town. How long had it been since he had driven out to see him? Brad set down his wrench and reached for his phone. In more than 30 years of faith, ministry, and human stories, I have learned this. The world often forgets quiet kindness. People forget the ones who gave without asking for credit. They forget the hands that helped, the hearts that noticed, the sacrifices made in silence. But God does not forget. Hebrews 13:16 says, "Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God." Pleasing to God. Not impressive to the crowd. Not trending on the internet. Not applauded in the room. Pleasing to God. That is a different kind of reward. Leo did not fix that tire because it made him look good. He did it because something in him refused to let an old man stand alone in the rain. And Brad was not simply the villain of this story. He was a man who had stopped noticing. And maybe grace began for him the moment he picked up the phone. Perhaps today, someone is standing at the edge of your attention, not asking for much, just enough to get home. May you be the one who notices. May you be the one who kneels. May you be the one who remembers that when no one else is watching, God always is. This is DrNova Faith Stories. God bless you, and I'll see you next Sunday. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs it today. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to join our Sunday community. See you next week. God bless you.